homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Who am I but a Dre Mac? Came into the game just to spit facts. Into the space that I'm in. They got me by the Drake cause I'm cold with the pen. I run no diamonds but I feel shy. You can dig me cause my bar's mine. My tracks flame like a dilute. I order blood on my tongue. Thinking this is warm glue. I'ma throw with a gas leak. Camouflage in the mist but you smell me. One spark and I bet you I'ma blow up. They throw my name around. Get stupid then you go dumb. No rest for the RiRi, a versus thinking in his man, but you can't see me. You rather drink than go pull up, but took a knife through the game, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. I came to eat at the a la carte. Got stripped of a bear, come be brainstorm. Then I come together like a Voltron. Then I pour all the planks to use Decepticons. Fake brothers to retreat like Cobra. 80s they before they like. Up in the storage and I'm man. Up, down, man, I'm cheap. You a beast, man. I take a beat in. Ninja turtle rap, turtle glands, get defeated. Hot in the ride. You can call me Night Rider. You can never stop me. Cause I'm a guy ball. Bad attitude like a rocket. My whole to the A. And I bet you can't stop us. LL bad when I go and show up. You can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
What's up? What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Dre Mac, coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. Had to push it up as some other situations going on, so I could not do it at 7:30. I had to do it, push it. It's 8 o'clock. But I'm glad you guys are in the chat today. Also, I had to push Torian's video, the reaction, the second part of the video. I'm pushing that until tomorrow. So on Thursday, we're going to get into Torian's video to finish up the two-part series that he has going on. But I'm not going to lie. When I seen this, I had to do it. The Blerd Without Fear is going after the Grifters. I keep telling y'all be hating, talking about, why are you talking about Tyrone? And why are you talking about these people? They can't have their opinion. Man, these people out here grifting, man. They out here like legitimately creating rage bait material. And some of y'all falling for the banana and tailpipe. I mean, just literally just, I ain't gonna fall for the banana and tailpipe. Some of y'all are in this ridiculous. So that's what I'm gonna go over today. I'm gonna react to his video. His video was pretty long, so I guess we got time today. So hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gant over at the Heavy Gant React channel. But you already know how I do. The real question is, are you ready?
hating on my energy? Say why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy.
All right. Let's go see who is all in the house right now. And let's get to this video. Jigga Network, good morning. Toria Rain Reloaded, good morning. The Dre Mac Show, good morning. Hey, it looked like you had a little issue there. Andre Ware, what's good? Good morning. Persetta, good morning. Roberta the Church IT, good morning. Manolo, good morning. Junior Network, good morning. Cash, Kid Even, good morning. Xavier Phoenix, good morning. Stargate, good morning. Hey, let me just say this, Cash Kid. Let me just say this. Some of y'all that had that Gripper 3000 and was worshiping the devil in front of you and didn't even know it. Ha ha! Oh, God, I'm retarded. I mean, I can't say that. Marley Moore, good morning. If I say it to myself, is it wrong? Anyway, Marley Moore, good morning. Michael Johnson, good morning. Enrique, good morning. Stargate, good morning. Eric Shaw, my guy. I got Eric Shaw up here. What's up? DS, good morning. Wavy Thames, good morning. Oh, man. So, again, I'm pushing the Toria Ray Reloaded. I'm pushing the other second part of this video to tomorrow. I think this is a good gap so we can be able to hear, like, I'm not going to lie. When I kind of seen this, I was like, what? Until I looked at the thumbnail, I was like, ooh. Now, I'm trying to tell you, people are getting sick and tired of these grifters. They're really getting sick and tired of these grifters. Mika G with Cinematic Nightmares Podcast. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to Cinematic Nightmares Podcast. Can you say that 5 times? Cinematic Nightmares Podcast, Cinematic Nightmares Podcast, Cinematic Nightmares Podcast, Cinematic Nightmares Podcast, Cinematic Nightmares Podcast. I did it. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to Mika G, though. DeAndre, what's up? It's always nice to see another DeAndre, especially when it's spelled totally different than mine. I like to appreciate that, and I thank you for being in the chat. All right, let's transition real quick. You said it's too early in the morning? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't you do that, Mika G. Don't you do that. Don't you put that evil on me. But so I started seeing it, I started watching a little bit of it, and then as soon as the opening title came in and it was grifters galore, I was like, hey, you know what? This is not going to be the MIE YouTube grifter series. It's not going to be a part of this. It's going to be a little bit different because I'm saving that for the Birdman, and I got to switch. When Torian does his grifters, he's going to be a part of that series too. So I'm going to make a whole playlist for MIA YouTube grifter part. However many times we go, there's going to be a playlist for that, so you can go back and watch it. Because again, it ain't just the Tyrone Magnums and the Stevie Knights and Mr. Milkman himself, RG3. It's not just that. Which did y'all hear Shaq say, you talk about my girl again, I'm gonna punch you in your face. You know what I mean? Because all of that, what you're doing when I say taste the biscuits again, it's about the activity. It's not about the actual person, because I still believe, you know what I'm saying, that a person can change. A person has, I was always taught a person is 15 seconds away from disaster, but also 15 seconds away from saving themselves. So I always believe in that. But while you're out here being a goofball, I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to talk about you. You're out here just biscuits and milk and just all over yourself. Biscuits, honey sauce, butter, milk everywhere. It's mass hysteria. It's just pandemonium. I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to be petty as hell. And all of you soft boot shoe booties that came in here, Tyrone has more, you just clout chase. He has more subscribers than you, and you just want to clout chase. You can't get any views without Tyrone. I don't care. I don't care. And I'm glad some of you that are so soft within your heart came here to look at my face and be mad. Look at it. I look at it every day and I get upset. You know why I get upset? Because God damn it, is that guy handsome. And he's petty as hell when he wants to be. That's a hell of a combination. So that's why I'm here, to be petty be obnoxious to you. Erica D, aka She Loves Fantasy. What's up? But until then, let's go ahead. Let's take a quick commercial break because we're gonna come back with more of the Dre Max Show.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Now you can own one of the greatest gospel albums ever on the rough side. With only giant hits and legendary stars.
Biscuit. I know it's the truth about it. I love. Oh, how I love this biscuit. Oh, how I love this biscuit. It is the best biscuit. I know.
We now return to the Transformers.
You know what's so funny about that picture at the end? All of them had the same goofy, cheesy ass smile. Just butter biscuit everywhere. And you know I'm not going to lie to you. Not even going to hold you. I really want a biscuit so bad with a little butter on there right in the middle. So it's all soft and just gooey. But I got a gluten allergy, so I can't taste the biscuits. Anyway, let's transition over. Let's see what the Blerd Without Fear is talking about in this. I haven't seen all of it. I just seen the very beginning and said, you know what? Let's see what the Blerd Without Fear has to say about this subject, and let's go. Let's get into it.
Well, I guess we're doing this.
She runs across another race-swapped character from the comic books, the Hood, who we will now call Da Hood. But if you're a viewer out there who made it past this part and to the end of the first 3 episodes, you deserve reparation. Now, credit where credit is due, a show that clearly knows it's one and done, doesn't waste any time, and alienates the audience right off the bat because this...
Hey, I'm not even going to hold you. You can see the Blerd Without Fear kind of like fuming. He about to come out that tight shirt, boy. I swear to God. That's my guy, though. I like him, though. What I'm telling you, this is so annoying. This is why I said the reason why it's so annoying is because not only, again, you got the white grifters is doing it, that's selling rage bait, that's promoting rage bait, and for some reason, somehow, you know what I'm saying, YouTube has not picked up on this and like, yo, you guys are really being racist, which is surprising to me. That's why we're pointing it out, and that's why we're going at the Tyrone Madness, Kikiing and all of this mess. And anybody else who want to grift, this is why we go at them. You know what I mean? You know, but it's really the black ones. I'm like, y'all don't see this blatant racism, but nope. You know what I'm saying? What you say, grifters got to grift. Let's go. Let's keep going.
This is how it starts.
Here we go. Okay. Just to let you know, your girlfriend will be bigger than John. Right. Bigger than Gates. Right. Bigger than Penn. Right. Bigger than Stark. Yeah. Come on.
No. The only thing your girl finna be is as big of a failure as the Marvels. But
combining the worst aspects of everything we've come to hate about this franchise, the pandering and heavy-handed racial politics of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the trite and predictable girl bossing of the Marvels and Wakanda Forever, the moral flexibility of Black Widow, where doing horrible things is just fine if you happen to tick the right diversity boxes.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's your boy Ernie, the Blerd Without Fear. Welcome back to the channel. So the Chuds are harshing the vibes. They are losing their minds over Ironheart, literally crashing out in ways that I don't think I've seen since the first Black Panther.
Stargate, thank you. Do you see that they're not actually critiquing the show? They're taking subtle jabs at black people. And I'm glad you picked that up. You know what I'm saying? Reparations and you know what I'm saying? The Hood. A race swap. The Hood. It ain't the Hood. It's the Hood. You know what I'm saying? Only the you fitting to be doing. You see how they constantly are making fun of us? You know what I mean? They're constantly making fun of us. It's not a critique on the show or anything. You know what I mean? But and it's always Jermaine's fault. I'm glad you in here. There are extremists on both sides. There are. But I'm talking about the extremists right now that's making fun of black people. that is blatantly making fun of black people. Let's keep going. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Panther movie. And it's all about criticism, or more specifically, a lack thereof. These people aren't critiquing anything. They're just being racist. None of them have any actual ability to give any constructive criticism about Ironheart because they don't even really understand precisely what they are watching. All of their criticisms come down to, oh, well, she doesn't have a dad, or, oh, she lives in the ghetto.
I want to swing by to the mural that they drew.
I mean, look at this dude. This dude look like a nutsack that has not seen the sun, or a woman in God knows how long, probably since he came out of one. Look at this. This is it. And again, have you noticed, like we've talked about before, some of these people ain't even American and they hate us. You know what I'm saying? And you could come in and say, oh, there's just this, like, you know, what Donald Trump said, where there's good people on both sides. What? When you got people out here talking about they gonna replace us and all of this, and coming out with the tiki torches and all of this stuff, and they coming out with this racist rhetoric, you cannot then say, well, there's good people on both sides. No, we got to address the elephant in the room first. And the elephant in the room is the racism that comes out of these grifters' mouths. And the black folks that jump on the butter biscuit train and do butter biscuit activity along with it. That's a problem. That is a problem, and it needs to be consistently addressed, because I love being in this space. I love being a blur. I love being a collector, all of that. But what I'm sick and tired of is acting like I'm a problem within your space. So now we just go at you. And I'm not mad at you know what I'm saying, the Blerd Without Fear going at them. Let's keep going.
Your dead stepdad, I mean, where her real dad is, I don't know. I guess he went out for a packet of smokes or something.
You see what I'm saying?
Or she's just a black woman who talks black. Rhetoric. Like, that's their critique. They don't have anything else. And I find it very telling that these are all bog standard white men who either A, are shitty dads, or B, in probably more cases than not, couldn't even touch a woman to conceive a child. Exactly. I also find it rather hilarious that most of these guys, they're too old to be this upset about something that wasn't made for them. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to lay some cards on the table. I'm in my 40s. I am 42 years old.
Damn. I mean, you know, I'm getting up there too.
Methrotic, like, he's in his 50s. He's almost 60 years old. Or at least closer to 60 than I am. The point of the matter is, these people also aren't even engaging with the thing that they're critiquing. They're not being genuine. And you can tell because the critiques that they're offering, they're not paying attention to the fact that they're basically the same critiques you should have about Iron Man. But why are they not having these critiques about Cornelius. Iron Man? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, it's the same answer that we often would come up with when we would find out there's an active shooter somewhere. All of them call Ironheart.
You know what? I'm going to give, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give Ernie, aka the Blerd Without Fear, his props, because I you know, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Sometimes in this space, you know, besides the Birdman and Torian, you know what I'm saying, in this space, calling out a lot of this bull crap, sometimes it feels like if you just ignore it, it'll go away. I hate that. I'm gonna tell you off tops, I hate that. Because it's only us that has to be docile when we're getting dumped on by these critters. You know what I'm saying? These real life, out of space critters. We're the only ones that got to be docile. And, oh, just don't even trip about it. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? Why are you giving them that energy? The more energy that you give, the more people go to their channel. Mother lovers is going to their channel anyway. This is why we're going at them. You see what I mean? People are going to their channel and then they're coming to channels like ours. Like, and I guarantee you, because I heard it from Rob from Comments Explain. I guarantee you Blerd Without Fear. I guarantee you E-Man has seen it. I have seen it. I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, Torian is in here. He done seen it. These grifters or these grifter lights that follow this racist rhetoric come to your channel and spread that same racist rhetoric, whether it's in your chat, whether it's in your comment section, no matter what, they come in here and they spread this racist rhetoric. So why do I, if they can spread it, why do I have to sit down and just act like it doesn't happen? Why do I? My grandparents, my ancestors, you know what I'm saying, was sitting there in the 60s taking water hoses to their ass. They didn't sit there and just let it happen. They were there for a mission. So why can't I go into the fight? Why do I got to be docile? Why do I got to sit back? Hey, shout out to Blerd Without Fear. Because he could have easily said, you know what? I ain't tripping off of that. And I kept, and this is the conversation that I was having. I'm telling you, it's bigger than RiRi Williams in this show. I told y'all that from the beginning. The reason why I was so hyper-focused is so protective of Ironheart, not because you just got to just settle for any kind of representation. That's listen to what I'm saying. When you say that, you're still leaving out and not really understanding the bigger picture, because you're looking at the tree when there's a whole damn forest right out here. There's a whole damn forest. You're looking at this one tree that's slumping. You see what I mean? So when you get into the context of, oh, you start nitpicking, oh, she was a criminal. Why do you have to do that? Why you got to do this? And why can't she do that? And nitpick. Why these racist bastards are sitting over here talking gang of crap about us through that show. You ain't got to like the show. I'm not telling you to like the show. That's not what my whole argument is. My argument is not, hey, this is the greatest show of all time. You got to go out here and watch it. I'm not saying that. But protect the people. You know that these racist assholes is out here. I'm sorry, Miss Roberta. I'm getting excited. But you know these racists is out here. But you chose to say nothing while engaging in the same racist rhetoric that they're saying. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you're making the thumbnails and saying this is the worst thing I ever happened, well, you're grifting too. You're grifting because you don't have to critique it like they do. If you say, you know what, this is not the show for me, and here's valid reasons why this does not work. You know, like a real critic, then nobody would be saying anything, especially to you black ones, because I'm really talking to y'all, because y'all know better. That's who I'm really talking to, the black ones. But again, if it's going to give you 40,000 views to grift and talk about black people and shoe booty and buck dance and all of that, well, go at it. But guess who's coming to creep for you? Guess who's coming lurking in the shadows, you know what I'm saying, to bust your ass out? No Diddy. Let's keep going.
A braggart and cocky and a terrible person, but tend to forget that at the start of Iron Man 2008,
what's up, M. Nemesis? Good morning.
A braggart, cocky, and a terrible person. And here's the crazier part about that is that RiRi is, yes, she is a little bit of a braggart. Yes, she is cocky, but she's not a terrible person. She's just not nice. And I think that's something that people aren't able to work with, because if a male character has certain qualities and a female character has those exact same qualities, no matter how normal they are, it breaks a lot of people's brains. They look at them differently. It's the same reason why when you see a man getting overly emotional and freaking out and being an asshole, they'll just say, oh, he's just very passionate. But if a woman did the exact same thing, she would be called over emotional. And if she were not, absolutely positively 100% pleasant at all times, she would be called a bitch, not passionate or just a free thinker or whatever. So you can just throw those criticisms right out the door. And you look at Tony, he literally takes advantage of his friends, abuses their niceties and their patience. There's even one time that, and I think this actually kind of glossed over a lot of people's radars, is that Tony even made a transphobic joke at Rhodey's expense in the first movie. Worse, Tony is a war profiteer. Yeah, he's even referred to as...
He says, welcome, Tony Stark, the most famous mass murderer in the history of America.
And even if you take that out of the equation, even by Tony's own admission, he plainly states that he disagrees with the old saying that the best weapon is one you don't have to fire. He says that he thinks the best weapon is one you only have to fire once, meaning he's perfectly okay with bombing the shit out of people and even coming up with bombs so devastating that either A, you bomb them into submission, or B, you bomb enough of them that there's nothing left. That's
and it was crazy is this was the argument that we were saying with Ironheart. Yes, is she a derivative character? Yes, she is. But nobody had a problem with Laura, you know, aka X-23, when she was in Deadpool Wolverine. She is literally a derivative of Wolverine with her own backstory, all of that. Nobody had a problem. Everybody loved Laura when Logan came out. But everybody knows this is baby Wolverine. Nobody had a problem with nobody talking about, you know, this is that, yada, yada, yada. Nobody was saying any of that. But yet, when it comes to a black woman, just like, with Captain America, we see when Bucky was Captain America, nobody had a problem with it. When U.S. Agent was Captain America for that brief time, you know what I'm saying? Nobody had a problem with it. But then when the black dude gets the Captain America suit in the comics, not my cap, where literally they made a comic book after all the backlash. This is what I'm talking about. So now the common denominator is us. It's okay when y'all do it, but it's not okay when we do it. See, when we do it, it's over the line. Jerome, you done stepped over the boundaries. We don't like it. We don't like it, Tyrone. When we do it, it ain't like we're sitting there begging and asking no comic book company or no comic book studio to say put us in these roles. We're not sitting here begging outside like we're begging for change. They decide to do that. They thought it was the right thing to do. And again, I honestly, if you want to keep it a buck, the pettiness in me do not care about race swaps. You know why I don't care about race swaps? The petty part of me doesn't care about race swaps and all of that is because for a long time, white folks was making fun of black folks during the minstrel period. You know what I mean? Genghis Khan was played by John Wayne. And how many, Jerry Lee Lewis was playing an Asian character in a horrible depiction of an Asian person also. So technically, I don't care. The pettiness, the real deep down root in me would love to see everybody black. I don't care because if you know our history in America, then you will understand where my pettiness comes from. But the logical, the over 30, 40-year-old version of me is like, hey man, you're going to deal with more racism if they do this. So let's just uplift these black characters. Now let's just do that. But the ghetto pettiness is out of me. Like, I don't give a if you want to keep it real. Let's keep going. I'm talking too much.
The only way you can take that. Let's keep it a buck. If this movie wasn't caught up in a time frame of the war in Iraq, I could have very easily have seen Tony sending missiles to Israel, signing Iron Man on bombs and shit going to bomb Gaza. I could see it. Yeah, you could die mad about
Jerry
that.
Lewis. I mean,
you can't even make the argument that, no, he just sold weapons for peace. He doesn't care about peace. He even says as much in the opening moments of Iron Man. He even makes a joke about how, yeah, totally all about peace. Peace, I'd be out of a job.
Mickey Rooney, thank you, Persetta.
I'll be throwing one of these in with every purchase.
I don't know why I said Jerry Lewis.
To peace.
At this particular point in his time, yeah, he turned over New Leaf and got away from being a war profiteer after the result of his war profiteering came back to bite him. But at the end of the day, he was very much into it. He was just doing the thing. He didn't have a moral stance on anything. He had to be talked down out of it. He was very dogmatic about what he did all the way up until the point that he was captured. Even then, he had to be turned around. What was that line about, peace is having a bigger stick than the other guy?
Absolutely. And then, Torian, you brought up something like the birth dearth. The birth dirt. Oh, man, do I still have it on my phone? But the birth dirt is talking about, you know, what you just posted in the what you just posted there. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't really understand that. This is one of the reasons why the Republicans was so against abortions. What's up, Rasta Life? But they were so against abortions. Why? They don't care nothing about them women. It's about getting the birth rate up. They haven't had a spike in the birth rate since the boomers, the baby boomers. Then after the boomers, they haven't been producing kids like they would. And trust me, I got a TikTok video about it. Let's keep going.
Go over to Avengers Age of Ultron, and more specifically, the WandaVision series. It's expressly stated that Tony Stark is responsible for the deaths of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's family. So do with that information what you want. It was his weapons that blew up their home.
Them facts
when you break it all down,
keep putting them facts in the
is
chat.
not a
What's
terrible
up, Dolores?
person on the same way
Dolores?
or even the same level as Tony
What up,
Stark. And she's not
Executive
even a
Judge?
terrible person at all. I think what people really need to accept is that RiRi is just not nice. She's not a nice person. And that doesn't necessarily mean that she's a bad person. Anyone who actually knows me personally, they are often quick to point out that when I meet people for the first time, I am prickly. I don't just freely open myself up to people. It takes time. You have to earn my friendship. Not when I know I'm bumping into somebody who's like a fan of what I do or wants to talk to me about YouTube or whatever. I can be very polite and cordial in those situations. Now, in the case of RiRi, it's different. She's dealing with trauma because she lost two of the people she cared about in this world in a violent manner, directly in front of her. She saw it happen. So yeah, I don't think I would blame her for not really being too quick to open up to people. And not so much in the MCU, but in the comics, RiRi Williams is coded as kind of slick autistic. Like,
all right, now hold up, wait a minute. I called this in the show. I was like, she is so like, if you're dealing with a kid that's on the spectrum, well, dealing with two kids on the spectrum, I had to change, and I just had this conversation with my best friend, my boy Jericho. I said I had to change the way I parent once that diagnosis came about being on the spectrum. For one, is because their brain works differently. They're different. So the brain works differently. So I can't be so hard. I have to spell things out. There's certain things that you have to do to get this person to understand. You know what I mean? And it's not yelling, hollering, screaming. Because the first thing I said, and I'm not mad at it because, hell, I grew up with parents that would beat the brakes off of me. You know what I'm saying? But, hell, that was the 80s. You can't really do that. I mean, you can, but you know what I mean? But with a kid that is special and you see that their brain works differently, you cannot operate in that tone. Trust me, working with a kid, just parenting a kid on the spectrum will leave you frustrated at times, but it's so damn rewarding. Why? Because you have to learn how to parent different. You have to learn to listen. You have to learn to be patient. You have to learn to be understanding. You have to learn to allow this kid sometimes to do what they do, because if you push them too hard, they would literally freak. You're talking to a parent who literally seen his kid just freak out and literally break down off of something we might think is minute, but he doesn't see it like that. Why you think RiRi will sit up there? Because her brain is working 24/7. You know what I'm saying? And she's thinking, I got the way and I got the way. And when they don't, they break down. And I kept saying, man, she act like she's a little on the spectrum, because I've seen it. She is too hyper-focused. This is what I mean. A lot of kids, if you have a high-functioning child that's on the spectrum, one thing that you would notice if they're hyper-focused. So with my kid, you know what I'm saying? When he's hyper-focused, he will literally learn. I'm talking, he'll watch it over until he learns everything about it and then spout it. I'm talking about, that's the hyper-focus that you will see. He's watching Static Shock every single episode, learning everything. So then he's talking about, yeah, Static Shock was over here. I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? But also, this is the reason why RiRi's mom parented her the way that she did. Yeah, some of y'all are abused, and some of y'all got beat. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, and I get that. You know what I'm saying? I sure did. You know what I mean? But wait, what I mean by Azelle Ray, ADHD, because my youngest son does have ADHD, but my older son, he's on the spectrum. So when I mean by hyper focus, literally, he will find one thing and that's all he knows. You know what I'm saying? That's all he knows, and it's a little bit like ADHD, but literally, you if you take him out of that, he would start to break down. You know what I'm saying? People with ADHD, they have to refocus. He would legitimately break down because he doesn't know why you're taking him out of his comfort zone at that time. And if you notice, you know, RiRi was socially awkward. You know what I mean? She thinks she knows, but she really doesn't. No, all she knows is what she's learned. She doesn't know street, but everything she's like, I gotta make suits. I gotta make suits. I gotta make a suit. Gotta make a suits. Gotta make suits. Gotta make suits. Suit. Gotta make a suit. Gotta make a suit. Why? Because of the trauma. Not only did she watch her, you know, her stepdad and her best friend die. Y'all gotta remember, it wasn't insinuated in the show, but if you know in the comic, her father died also when she was a baby. And she's named after her father. So you got to keep all of those things. But again, it seems like we can't have none of those type of deficiencies. We can't have problems. Even other black people. Hey, they'll tell you, don't put that out in the atmosphere. We gonna rebuke that in the name of Jesus. We not gonna say that you got autism. That's of the devil. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Are you serious? That's the fight that we got to go through too, that people don't understand. Let me keep going, because I could teach.
Necessarily saying that, you know, she's ever been like explicitly stated as such, but just like the way she is talked about and the way that her origin is handled, it's treated as though her mind just works differently than everybody else's. And even when she was on a champion, she had difficult time relating to other people, to the point where the one person she got along with at least, you know, the most well was a robot. And I think that should actually speak volumes in the storytelling. But a lot of people, they lack media literacy and the ability to understand nuance and those sorts of little things. Like everything has to be explicitly spelled out for them with a neon sign and arrows. You know, like those same thumbnails and arrows you see on like thumbnails, like heavy spoilers or whatever. They need that level of transparency in order to get the story that's being fed to them. Maybe YouTubers are the problem with why people are so dumb when it comes to this sort of stuff. I totally get why RiRi is the way she is. I think a lot of people would be the same way if they experience the same things as she's experienced. The thing that I really find of note here is not only were Chuds perfectly okay with Tony failing over and over and over and over again to create the Iron Man armor, not the Mark 1. I'm talking about the Mark 2 at this particular point. But we'll get to the Mark 1. Trust me, I'm going to get there. When RiRi's first armor was less high tech, barely working, like it wasn't like a perfect armor, it didn't just work straight out of the box. She later learned from Wakandans how to perfect that armor, which was over the course of several weeks. It's not like explicitly stated, but in Wakanda Forever, she spends multiple weeks in Wakanda working on that armor. It's not something that she just boom does overnight. Don't let the montage fool you. It could even potentially be months. There's a lot of time that passes between certain points in Wakanda Forever, especially that point when her Mark II armor is created. But even with all that, RiRi's intelligence, ingenuity, scrappiness, access to Wakanda technology, none of that was enough to get people to give her a pass and just accept that she is who she says she is, even though we just accept Tony at face value. And by the time you get to the Ironheart series from Wakanda Forever, 6 months have passed. So that means she's very likely been noodling at her armor for about that length of time.
And did you see I'm gonna run it back. Look at her thumbnail. every dream has a cost. This literally with the red background was already, for one, it was already set up Mephisto right in front of our face and we didn't even notice it. Number two, you know, when you are a dreamer, and I've heard this because I lived in LA, in Hollywood. There's so many Hollywood dreams, you don't know whose deal you're making that's the devil. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be very real. There's a lot of broken dreams in LA. It's one of the sad, like going to Hollywood is, and this is to anybody who's been to Hollywood, but really seen the real Hollywood, it's a lot of broken dreams, a lot of broken promises. Because they were so eager to get there and to live out their dreams or whatever. When I got to Hollywood, I'm gonna be real with you, because I lived in Compton. So when I got to Hollywood and I got that feeling and I just can't turn it loose, and this show in the hell wasn't a Drew Hill song, I said, oh, something ain't right out here. And I seen homeless people after homeless people and people that was just rude to people and just I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of the worst feelings I've ever had, you know what I'm saying, in my life, being in a place. Like, the feeling was just So I say that to say she's not the only one who has paid a price for trying to accomplish her dreams. So don't be so quick to point out, oh, what she did, when that's plenty of people's story right now. You understand? Or got a taste of Hollywood and just like the hood wanted more, and they out there on the street, they out there on drugs, they've died of drug overdose, or they'd have seen some of the most wicked and raunchiest stuff they ever seen. Them Diddy parties, trust me, they're way more common in Hollywood than anything that Diddy has done. Trust me.
To the Ironheart series from Wakanda Forever, 6 months.
Yes, Rashad.
So that means she's very likely been noodling at her armor for about that length of time. We see that when we get to the Ironheart series, she already has a very high-tech armor at her disposal, one that she actually used her own grant money to make. Like, even the school had to say, yeah, the suit is hers. It was the AI that was piloting it. That is what wasn't hers, which is why she had to build her own AI, and it's the whole purpose of the opening part of the story to begin with. Exactly. They weren't paying attention. They were just more interested in making jokes about how she was DEI and didn't earn it. Tony was born rich. He didn't earn shit. And the whole DEI didn't earn it, whatever, that's just a shorthand for too many niggas. That's all it is. Matter of fact, they were willing to...
Yo, I gotta give him his props, though. Let's go.
To believe that a white man could figure out how to build an Iron Man armor in 3 months in a cave
with a bunch of scraps,
which he didn't, and definitely not by himself. And they completely ignore his money, his privilege, the very things that make all this possible. But a black woman building her first armor in the inner city from actual Iron Man armor scraps over a period of multiple years without the same money and resources, suddenly it's inconceivable. And then worse, a black woman building a better armor in a place where she has the resources and technology to do so, they can't even believe that either. And then they get angry about how she calls out Tony's money, acting as if his billions of dollars, his wealth, doesn't fund the creation of these suits. Like he could just build the suit if he wasn't rich. And I'm sorry, that shit ain't happening. There's a reason why when you look at superheroes who don't have superpowers but are rich, characters like Iron Man, Batman with all his fancy toys and gadgets, and Green Arrow with all his fancy trick arrows, do you think they would have all that shit if they didn't either A, have the money, or B, didn't steal it? Because that's kind of where you run into that issue with Punisher. Punisher has his weapons because he takes them. He's not rich. He takes weapons from the people he takes down. Technically, that makes him a thief.
I mean, isn't this a conversation we literally had? We had the same conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally had the same conversation with Lori Victoria Burke. Go and watch that video. You know what I'm saying? Former CNN correspondent, Lori Victoria Burke. Let me say it like that. You know, but this is the same conversation. You know, with this, the reason why, you know what I mean, a lot of people, what's up, Verse Wonder Strikes? The reason why a lot of people get so agitated at the conversation when it comes, this is the reason why I got agitated. is because I'm like, we're supposed to be all comic blurs. Damn the movies, damn the TV shows, damn the cartoons. We're at least supposed to know something about comic books, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I said this: Batman wouldn't be Batman if Batman wasn't rich. Batman be a crazy nut bucket trying to do karate moves out there on the corner. Let's be real. And his ass would have been locked up in Arkham with the rest of the nut buckets. Let's be real. Tony Stark wouldn't be Tony Stark without being, you know what I'm saying, a weapons manufacturer, being rich, uber rich from his father. Like, come on. But you know what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying, dog, a black woman doing something. That's why I did that video showing you all the major engineers that was black. They have shaped and created a lane in America that is still not talked about to this day. You know what I mean? Two black women help United States get into space. You know what I mean? Where's their flowers at? But then RiRi Williams is building a suit. Nah, that can't happen. Why don't she just be a nurse or something? Or do you know they said that to her in the comics too? Golly.
So just putting that out there. Also, no one had the same
judge.
thief smoke, because that was another thing. I'm gonna get back to the thing, but a lot of people have been bringing up the whole thief angle. No one seems to have that same smoke for their precious Terry McGinnis.
Thank you.
Terry McGinnis is a whole thief. He stole the Batman Beyond suit.
He did.
I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. The main idea here is that this is about default whiteness. That means that everybody that is in the story has to be white. And anyone who isn't, they are not supposed to be the main character. Like, it's perfectly okay for a black side character, so long as they don't outshine their white counterpart. That's what they want. They want to go back to that type of setup where the only people who aren't white are not important. And racist, they believe that any non-white person is automatically not qualified for the thing that they're overly qualified to actually do. It doesn't even matter what their resume looks like. They're going to say this person didn't earn it. And 99.99999% of the time, the people who are saying this, they aren't even qualified to fill out the job application, let alone get the job. Now, the thing that I have been getting irritated by is that a lot of these chuds have been replaying this clip over and over again. Y'all know the clip, the one where Obadiah Stane gets mad at the scientists for not being able to replicate the Iron Man technology. Roll the clip.
Yes, to power the suit. So the technology actually doesn't exist.
William, here is the technology. I've asked you to simply make it smaller.
Honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Now, was he talking about the armor or the arc reactor to power the suit? Put in the comment section below if you know. Put it in the comment section. When he addresses this, is he talking about the Mark I suit, or is he talking about the arc reactor to build it? I'll wait. Put in the chat. I'll wait. 30 seconds. Matter of fact, let's go ahead. Let's take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with more of the Dre Max Show.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the butter spread. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread. Get your butter spread all on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my mac and cheese.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right. Shout out to old Milkman, because when Shaq catch you, I want it on tape. Anyway, at the arc reactor. The arc reactor. Nope, they not gonna give it. Hey, Pam, Sister Pam, let my girl, Sister Pam. What's going on, Pam? Oh man, it was the arc reactor. It was never the suit. It was the arc reactor. Let's keep going.
So you see, the funny thing about this is that they aren't even using the clip correctly. Obadiah Stane isn't talking about the Iron Man armor. The Iron Man armor itself is easy to copy. Obadiah Stane does it inside of like 24, 48 hours in the Iron Man movie. But that's not what he was talking about. He was talking about the arc reactor, the thing that powers the suit, the very thing that's in Tony's chest. That's the thing he's talking about that was built in a cave with a box of scraps. Now that we've gotten that out of the way. Yes, it was built in a cave, but it was not built with a box of scraps. That is Obadiah's assumption, and he didn't build it by himself. I mean, yes, he came up with the idea for it, but he also came up with the idea for it because, well, for one, it was just based on the arc reactor he already had, but a giant version of it. He made it smaller, but he made it smaller based on the work of another character who was in the cave with him, and that's Jensen. Jensen was there with him. Jensen was the one who saved Tony's life using a car battery and a magnet, basically kind of creating the prototype for the smaller version of the arc reactor. And then Tony perfected it by turning that very same idea into a smaller version of the arc reactor. But regardless of the situation, he had help with pretty much every aspect of the Iron Man armor that he came up with. Jensen helped him build it. Not to mention, if Jensen didn't build the car battery magnet combo, Tony would have died in the cave. Matter of fact, he didn't just help save Tony's life. He didn't just help him build all the shit he built in the cave. He also helped put him in the armor. Tony could not put on the armor by himself. Not to mention, I also find it very entertaining that Tony also would not have made it out of the cave, even with the Iron Man armor, without Jensen, because Jensen sacrificed himself to buy more time for Tony. Had Jensen not gone out and tried to stop Raza in the 10 Rings from coming after him, stopping him, interrupting the process of the uploads that the Iron Man armor would be usable, the thing that I found really hilarious about this is, Tony would have died standing right there in the little nook of the cave because he couldn't put the armor on by himself. He couldn't even operate the armor until that upload finished. So
when I'm telling you, Ernie up here jabbing A1 pop 1A pop 1A pop 1A pop 1A pop 1A. If you know, you know. He's over here repetitionally putting 1A 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 1A. Ernie out here killing them. Keep going, Ernie. I'm enjoying this.
Instant sacrifice
killing
made Iron Man even more possible. Now let's look at the scraps part of it. He didn't build any of that shit with just a box of scraps. The Iron Man armor, especially, a lot of the stuff he used was stuff that was already in the cave. Stark Tech. All the scraps that they're talking about, it was literally scraps of Stark Tech.
Exactly.
So not really just regular old scraps. That's a disingenuous thing. Yes, that line is funny, and yes, Obadiah said it. But
they acted like, that Tony built something out of the stuff MacGyver be using. MacGyver would get up out of that cave in 24 minutes plus commercials.
Obadiah was not actually there. Yes, he set everything up, but he also did not have all the intel on what happened. And I think a lot of people take that as to be the gospel. But at the end of the day, Tony does not even get out of the cave without Jensen sacrificing himself. It just does not happen. And then even after that, when he takes the armor out of the cave, it doesn't even get him back to the States. He flies out of the cave and then immediately crash lands, stranded in the middle of the desert. So if not for Rhodey, he just would have died of dehydration in the desert. That's what would have happened to it. Seems like Tony just gets help everywhere. Also, the argument that Tony's billions of dollars doesn't make a difference in the suits that he creates, you're lying to yourself. Because when he didn't have the money, look at the armor that he built. It didn't even last 20 minutes. And then suddenly, once he gets back home, he has access to his money, access to even better Stark Tech to compile everything. What happens? He builds the Iron Man Mark II, and it's an infinitely better armor. It's lighter. It can actually survive crashes and falls. Doesn't just immediately break when he crashes through his own house, multiple floors. It survives freezing, like up in the technically it gets frozen, but I mean it doesn't break upon freezing when it goes too high up into Earth's atmosphere. So I think we're just being very disingenuous here, saying the money didn't matter. It mattered. Mark 1,
So I'm a piggyback off of what he's saying about the disingenuous. Why they use that clip and are being disingenuous? Because half of the time they want to erase history. Stay with me, people. They want to erase history to be disingenuous and when we be innovative. Think about it like this. There's a lot of times where our history is erased, or they try to be disingenuous about the situation when it comes to something we created. The light bulb. Who did they give the credit to but the light bulb? But that little filter system that was inside of there, black man created that. You know what I'm saying? Stoplight, pacemaker, and you could go on and on. You know what I'm saying? But they always find a way to be disingenuous when it comes to our history or try to erase it. Or this is the famous line for racists. We was kings and shit. One part that we was kings. We was kings and shit. I see this all the time on Twitter or on Instagram or on Threads, Facebook. I mean, damn near everywhere. You see what I mean? But when it comes to us, it's always a way to divert who really did it. This is the easiest one. The easiest one is the pyramids. They would say aliens did it. White folks did it. Everything on the sudden, knowing good and damn well. I wish I could pull my book out. You know what I'm saying? That after the Nubian dynasty in Egypt is when Caucasians came into, from the mountains and came into Egypt and started destroying something. Alexander the Great, that's why those noses are broken. But if you know your history, you would know that. But anything before the Nubians, blacks, blackity, black, and it's historical documentation. But they will tell you an alien did the pyramids. And pyramids is not just in Egypt. They're in Ethiopia. How can you explain that? A land full of black people. There's even pyramids, places like in America. Just saying. Just saying. When it comes to us, it's always a way to divert our history or our place in this.
A cave full of Stark Tech scraps. With the Mark II, you had a multi-million-dollar laboratory, millions of dollars, billions of dollars worth of tech, and first-hand Stark Tech at that. Yeah, it makes a difference. I mean, and really, when you go back to the Mark I Iron Man suit, think about this. The Stark Tech scraps that he used to make that, it would actually be worse
exactly, Maverick,
if he used actual scraps. Imagine how long that suit would have lasted. The Stark Tech scrap Iron Man Mark I armor, it lasted maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes max. That's at best. If he would have just actually built all just random shit that was just laying around, like you're not having access to any Stark Tech whatsoever, that
Dr.
armor would not have lasted 2 minutes. The sad reality is that these chuds are kept up at night because of the fact that RiRi did what Tony did and didn't have as much money as him. And worse, built a better AI than anything Tony could have ever made. Remember, Jarvis and Friday and Edith, that was the best he could come up with on his own. Let's just go ahead and accept that. Even Ultron wasn't entirely his. Bruce Banner helped him with that.
Yeah.
And not only did he help him with that, it wasn't 100% something they made from scratch. Ultron was farmed from deciphered code inside the Mind Stone. So at best, Tony can take 33% credit for it. The code was already there. They just decrypted it and put it into the Iron Man armors. That's basically what they did. They basically jailbroke Infinity Stone tech. But that gets me to the other thing that keeps these chuds up at night is that RiRi created an AI that's better than what he has ever made. Natalie can say something that Vision cannot. You see, Natalie was made with what is effectively a soul. Not to say she actually has one, but she feels like a living, breathing person because she is based on RiRi's memories of her dead best friend, Natalie.
And I said that. I said, why everybody's trying to make fun and everybody's doing this. She literally took the barf technology, you know what I'm saying, put her brainwave patterns inside, you know, it basically encoded her brainwave pattern. I said there were certain things that was locked in her memory because of PTSD. That's what PTSD does. You sometimes like block things out of your memory, you know what I mean, because you don't want to relive it. And that technology unlocked everything that she ever thought about. That's why Natalie was getting back at her, because that's her own consciousness and her own thoughts and what her friend would say, talking back to her. This is the reason why she was so upset that Natalie was gone at the end of the show. And this is probably the reason why that she was thinking about bringing Natalie back, the AI, and she made that deal with Mephisto. Not because she wanted to make a deal with Mephisto because he's a devil or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She was thinking so much, again, hyper-focused, not thinking about the consequences, and she's young. You know, not thinking about the consequences, all of that. She thinking she's getting her friend back. I mean, her AI back, and she got her friend back. That's not what she asked for. You know what I'm saying? She'll take it, but that's not really what she asked for. So we got to put things in a perspective. You know what I'm saying? But no, people don't want to put it in perspective because it's stereotypes. It's a lot of criminality in here, and it's a bunch of stereotypes. And I don't like black stereotypes and not looking at the nuance of the actual show. I keep saying the show is way better than what people think of when you're talking about a character. When you are an actor and you are, you know, when you are an actor and you're going out for roles, the best thing you want to do is have a character that actually has some complexity. Why? Because it makes you better. You start thinking about what would you really do in this situation. Now, let me see in the character, you know, in the character description, how would this character respond in A, B, and C situations? And it makes you better because now you have to think. Now you have to be like, okay, I don't think she would respond like this because of A, B, and C, but I'm going to pull this out of her because I'm starting to see what the writer actually put out here for this character to be. And now this character is a living, breathing, you know, conception of the writer. So now when you see it on screen, you see all this complexity, you are thinking about the betterment of the character because you see all the complexity. But it seemed like some way, somehow, black people can't be complex unless we in a hood show, unless it's BMF, unless it's power. Yeah, I'm still taking shots at that because that's the only time it seems like black people can have any type of complexity when we're really doing criminal stuff in those shows. But then you got something like this, and she makes a mistake dealing with the hood, and all of a sudden, I ain't gonna watch it. It's criminal. She's a criminal. Bull job, man. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. Let's keep it a buck. All right, let me get to this super chat real quick. For Miss Roberta, the show was fire. I'm enjoying this with my caramel mocha macchiato, coffee, and Cinnabon biscuits. Oh, you already know we got to taste the biscuits with the Cinnabon sauce. But I got you, because you know what? I got you on this.
You are truly amazing. Thank you for your super chat.
You wanna be my enemy.
Appreciate it, Philip, and appreciate it for the $10 super chat, Miss Roberta, and of course to get priority. To get the major priority, if you send a super chat, I most definitely would get at you. Thank you, Philip. Let's keep going. Let's keep going at this. This is good. This is good stuff.
And what makes that even more.
Oh, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow. I'll be back on time tomorrow because we're going to go into Toria's second video. And I can't wait to get into that too. So let's keep going. Let's go.
Wild is it? Well, yes, you can make the argument that Vision is based on Jarvis, and Jarvis seemed to be real on some level, or seemed to have feelings on some level. It was never quite the same as what was going on with Natalie. Not only that, Vision later getting a soul, there were a lot of moving parts to that as well, because eventually the body that he inhabits had to be created by Ultron, and then later on, the soul, the actual like thing that makes Vision who he is, that came from Thor. So Tony can't even claim credit for that. Now, the last thing that I'll jump into here is body count.
The only body I count is mine.
With
All right, mine's out of the gutter, y'all. I mean, like, kill counts. So all the chuds kept falling back on calling RiRi a murderer. Now, this is how I know they didn't actually pay attention to what was going on. They weren't really actually engaging with the story. You see, the person they're talking about RiRi killing is John. You see, John was trying to kill RiRi. Exactly. He was actually trying to commit murder one. Full stop. And at no point did she ever do anything to him that could actually be constituted as murder. Now, when we get to the point where John is locked inside the facility that they had broken into, that's not even RiRi either. You see, RiRi had the same amount of oxygen, maybe a little bit more, than what John had in his lungs. And the only reason she got out of it is because Natalie came and saved her. She was barely conscious when Natalie put her in it. Natalie was controlling the suit and flying her out of harm's way. RiRi didn't kill John. Natalie killed John. Now, I see where you're probably thinking, well, yeah, but they didn't do anything to try and save John. I think it's perfectly reasonable to think that rescuing John was not a smart move, considering he was actively trying to end RiRi's life. And Natalie, being aware of that, probably felt, yeah, I'm protecting my best friend. I'm taking my best friend out of the situation. I'm saving her life. Now, to be fair, Natalie opening the door to get in the room to get RiRi technically stopped John and RiRi both from dying of suffocation.
Exactly.
When she picks up RiRi and they fly out of the room, the door closes behind them. But that wasn't Natalie. That was the facility. If we actually had to work this out in a court of law, the worst you could charge Natalie with is negligent homicide.
Exactly. And I was like, if he had a little bit more oxygen, he could have literally got out of there because the door was open. It ain't like, and this is the crazy part, it's not like the door was closed. I mean, the door didn't have, he didn't have ample amount of time to get out. He didn't have enough oxygen to get to the door. And then when he did get to the door, it shut. Is that his, you know what I'm saying? You know, is that RiRi's fault? I'm just saying, and I pointed this out. I'm like, dude, he got ample amount of time. All he got to do is jump through there. I guess he didn't. Yeah, sucks to be him, because wasn't he getting ready to? Why? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why are y'all sitting up there? She murders people. She's a criminal. You know what I'm saying? She's a menace. You know what I'm saying? That everybody J. Jonah Jameson when it comes to RiRi is a menace. This is a crook, and I don't like it. Front page, Spider-Man kills people. You know what I mean? Like, stupid. When you look at the show and you're not, and this is why I called out people who wasn't watching this show, but they had something to say. You're not watching it. You're not watching it in good faith. I don't want to hear nothing that you got to say. But seriously, the door was open. He got up to, you know what's crazy? He got up to bang at the door, but he didn't have enough energy while the door was open to try to run through it. I'm just saying. It's up there. It's right there.
The textbook definition for negligent homicide is a criminal charge brought against a person who, through criminal negligence, allows another person to die. That's the best you could hit Natalie with. And even then, I don't think there's a jury that would convict her. I want y'all to keep that same energy, because I saw a lot of you chuds. I know a lot of you chuds love your precious Batman Begins. And all Natalie did to John was the same thing that Batman did to Ra's al Ghul. She just elected not to save him. Do they have that same smoke for Tony Stark? Nope. Tony killed 2 dudes before he even got out of the cave.
Exactly.
Like, Tony killed 2 dudes easily before he even fully got the Iron Man armor on. He literally blew them up. They set a trap for 2 men, blew them up when they tried to enter the room, and I'm pretty sure they're very dead, considering how close they were to the explosion when it went off. Then he also killed at least another 15 dudes from the time he walked out of his prison in the cave to escaping from the prison camp entirely. All those dudes that he punched and clotheslined, he was hitting them with enough force that when he missed one of them, his arm literally got stuck in the cabin wall. That would have killed that man. I'm sorry. I know people think, oh, only bullets and knives can kill people, but no. Blunt force trauma is a thing. Now,
it is so crazy, because then when he becomes when he gets to Mark II, what is the first thing he does when he perfects it to get the race red in there? He goes literally back to where that in the Middle East, where that was at, and shoots 6 people in the head with those dart things that are coming out of his, to save those people. But he was out there killing.
The guy who shot Tony in the head and the bullet ricocheted and hit him, I'm not going to hang that one around Tony's neck. That's like the one death that Tony can say, hey, man, that wasn't me. And if that weren't enough, he goes on and picks up another 20 or so bodies on his tab when he illegally crosses the border into Gulmira, a fictional town in Afghanistan, and just openly declares war on everybody. Now,
hold on, wait a minute. Isn't this the same conversation people try to have with Superman? When Superman was like, people were going to die, he went over there to save people because some goofball decided he was going to go to war with another country. So he decided to take the law into his own hands. And in Superman, which we all seen the clip, if you haven't, it's not a spoiler. Lois Lane grilled Superman about going to international waters and all of this stuff. And he was like, look, people were going to die. That's the reason why I did it. Nobody grilled Tony about going over there and just smoking all these people. I mean, dude had a whole loud pack when he went over there was smoking folks. I'm just saying, do you see how and then, of course, people was calling that woke. That the whole conflict in there, how Superman was going to go save because of the conflict. Where was that same smoke in 2008 for Tony Stark when we know we were just coming off the back of the Afghan war? You know what I'm saying? And, what's the old boy's name? You know who I'm talking about. The guy who was the new boogeyman over there. Am I on mute? Hold on, wait a minute. Am I on mute? Put a 1 in the chat if I'm on mute, because I don't see it's on mute. But okay, am I on mute? Give me a 1 in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat. Bin Laden. Thank you. Okay, we good? Okay, because y'all can hear me. Okay. All right, we good. Yeah, Bin Laden. Oh, Bin Laden. You know what I'm saying? Boogeyman of the week.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, what he did was, wrong. He was saving lives. That's not lost on me. But the reality is that could be seen as an act of aggression, an act of terrorism. War. There are Geneva conventions for shit like this. And Tony Stark literally just kind of walked in and unilaterally decided to just start unaliving people left and right. Now, did they deserve to die? Probably. I mean, they were technically terrorists. Still, he walked in and chose to be judge, jury, and executioner. Tony was catching bodies left and right. He was literally shooting people in a force that they were splattering against concrete walls and blowing people up inside of tanks, shooting people with all types of tiny missiles and large missiles and setting people on fire. Those people are all incredibly dead.
He's asleep. No, wait, what?
But once again, the idea that it's perfectly okay for Tony to break the law, but it's not okay for RiRi to do so, regardless of what the situation was, I just find laughable. Tony actually did something that I think is objectively worse.
Okay.
He could have very easily started a war. At best, all RiRi did was help other people steal, money, and not even really just so much money, but like equity from billionaires. And yes, those people were hurt in the process of this. At least, some of those people were hurt in the process of this. But at the end of the day, Tony could have very easily started a war. Rhodey had to literally go out and do a press conference and say, yeah, that was not us. That was not the United States. And while that press conference is played for laughs, that is something that had, Tony actually been dimed as being an American asset, that would have started a war. And I think the only reason why people even let it slide is because of the color of the skin of the people Tony was killing. Exactly. They were brown people. These were brown men who were being killed, and no one so much as batted an eyelash. It was like, nope, that's just the way God intended. White men killing brown people. That's just how we do things here. And then when you get to the end of it, there's Obadiah Stane. That's yet another body on his tab. I would go as far as to say Obadiah Stane. I know there's going to be people who are going to make the argument that technically Obadiah had it coming. And I agree, he did. He tried to kill Tony not once, but twice. Technically 3 times, if you really want to get technical about it. The second time being when he took the arc reactor out of Tony's chest, and the third time when Tony came back in the final act of the movie. Now, I will also go as far as to say that, while Obadiah had it coming, Tony still technically murdered him. And I know there's going to be people who say, well, wait a minute, it was actually Pepper Potts that did it. She's technically the one that retired Obadiah's jersey. Who told her to do what she did? She didn't even want to do it. Not necessarily because she thought it would kill Obadiah, because she thought it would kill Tony. Tony instructed her exactly how to do it, how to blow up the arc reactor, and more specifically, constantly yelled at her to do it, knowing what would happen.
Exactly.
So just as easily as you could hang Obadiah Stane's death around Pepper Potts' neck, you could also hang it firmly around Tony's as well. You can actually send both Tony and Pepper to jail hand in handcuff motherfucking hand. There's a lot of things these chuds keep trying to say. These very disingenuous things that people are saying about the Ironheart show that I'm sorry, just are patently untrue. And even the things that are true, they do not have the same smoke for a white character that's already done the exact same thing.
Exactly.
I think if they actually took the time to pay attention, to actually watch Ironheart with it, engage with it on a sincere level, they would probably find there's a lot more to like than there is to hate. Because this TV show was a love letter to the original Iron Man. There's a lot of parallels between RiRi and Tony Stark. They're undeniable. And while I will definitely agree that I think Tony should have still been alive and around long enough to actually mentor RiRi.
What did I say? I said when people keep asking me, I don't like the way she was introduced to Wakanda Forever. I don't like the way she was introduced to Wakanda Forever. You know how many times I heard that? My answer was, they took the story of RiRi Williams in the MCU and they gave it to Peter Parker in the MCU. Peter was never really never an understudy to Tony Stark in the comics. You know what I'm saying? Technically, kind of got on Tony. I mean, Peter got on Tony's. Peter got on Tony's nerves. You know what I mean? But he was not the understudy to him. He was the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He'd do his own tech. You know what I mean? But they gave that whole storyline. And I told y'all this. When he meets Peter Parker in the first time and Tony Stark is sitting there, that should have been RiRi sitting right there. That should have been RiRi. No, they didn't do that because that would have been too much like right. And they gave it to Peter. That's why they kept calling Peter Iron Man. You gonna be the next Iron Man? You gotta be the next Iron Man. You know what's funny? Nobody got his well, yes, they did, because it was like, why is Peter over here? Even with Tony, with that, he's supposed to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But if they would have gave that to RiRi from the very beginning, people still would have had a problem with it because it's still a black sister. And like MTR said, you got a black female and named her Ironheart? Preposterous. I don't like it. This is DEI woke bullshit. Not knowing this is who was supposed to be her mentor in the very beginning. So just think of Civil War, but instead of introducing Spider-Man the way they did, they would have introduced Ironheart. If Spider-Man would have just been a superhero that found out what's going on, had his own type of gripes with the Sokovia Accords, but ultimately chose to go with Tony Stark. Wouldn't that would have been a better story? But nobody says that. Like, the MCU has crapped on a lot of storylines. A lot of storylines. Because technically the RiRi story with a whole Mephisto thing, that's Peter's story. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm glad that they went the way that they did. I do not like the idea that they gave RiRi spot to Spider-Man of all people in all this. Because, honestly, in a perfect world.
You cannot say I'm not a Blerd. I'm just saying I have not watched this. I have not watched this. Let me repeat what that man just said. Because literally I just said this. Let me just repeat what he just said.
And Tony Stark, they're undeniable. And while I will definitely agree that I think Tony should have still been alive and around long enough to actually mentor RiRi, I'm glad that they went the way that they did. I do not like the idea that they gave RiRi's spot to Spider-Man of all people in all this. Because, I mean, honestly, in a perfect world, it would not have been Spider-Man who was Stark's protege. It would have been RiRi from Jump. And I
thank you. Thank you. I am validated. I am validated because I've been saying this from the jump. We've been saying blue. I am now validated. All you Tyrone Madness suckers, you job time suckers. That's all I'm saying. I've been saying this.
I think even then, with that being organically done, they still would have found a reason to be mad. The thing that they're not paying attention to is that this is not just a black story. This is a story that actually crosses borders. It crosses the entire spectrum of intersectionality. This story is about being one of the have-nots, trying to find your place in the world and the system, the world itself, putting their boot down upon you. It's a thing that I feel racists always tend to lose in the sauce of it all because they're so worried about black people, brown people, just anyone who's non-white pointing out that the system is working against them. Here's the reality of it. Well, yes, white people, even on a passive level, benefit from white supremacy. The system works against you too. Because it's not always just about color, but it's also meant to keep poor white people down. My grandmother was a woman who worked for rich white people. She worked as a cleaning lady and a nanny for rich white people. If there's any one thing she taught me that has always stuck with me, the only thing that white people hate more than black people is poor white trash.
Poor white people.
Good night.
Yo, I got to give him his props. I got to give him his props. Ernie killed that. But he said all of the things I've been saying. All of the things I've been saying. All of it. Hold on, wait a minute. Erica D, you said that's the direction Screen Crush Ryan Aries took. Which direction? Because I want to know. Hold on, did I miss something? But yeah, I want to know. But this is the only thing that I'm saying. A lot of people, I mean, heavy spoilers didn't cover Ironheart because they just didn't want to. Either they just didn't want to deal with the show, which started to make me look at them crazy. Like, but MT covered it on another channel, so you know what I mean. But a lot of people wasn't giving this show the fair shot. You know what I'm saying? They did not give this show a fair shot. They did not, go into this show and say, I'm gonna look at it and give it a shot, a fair shot. A fair shot. Everybody was like, this show is stupid. Nobody asked for this. Yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? All the time. Oh, I got to watch a black woman be Iron Man. I don't want to. Nobody gave this a fair shot. Nobody. This is the reason why I went so hard for this show. Because I'm like, man, you got black directors, and you're nitpicking when there's so much other stuff that's in there that is just, there's meat on here. There's meat on here. You're just mad because it's Brussels sprouts next to it and a little butter biscuit. Just get rid of the butter biscuits and the Brussels sprout and just get to the meat. You know what I mean? Just saying. Like, you know what I mean? That's all. That's all I asked for was don't go into this show. And Blue said this, man, don't talk about this show. You ain't watching. You being disingenuous. Like, that's not fair. You gonna talk about something you not watching at all, and then you got something to say about it. That's disingenuous and that's lazy. I don't like it. Bits of Mage, what's up? I didn't like that, so I just start calling out. And again, it wasn't like I was trying to go out here and just start beef with people or the Tyrone Magnuses of the world or all of that. It was the disingenuousness that was coming out, and then all the butter biscuit in. You know what I'm saying? That they were doing with these critical drinkers of neurotics and all of that, being all up their cheeks and all of that. No diddy. You know what I'm saying? But they was just lubing it up. You know what I'm saying? The Dreamers Pro Show say pouring honey all over themselves, just lathering up. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm that's all I'm saying.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
All right. I got to get up out of here. Since I started 30 minutes late, I am 30 minutes over. You know what I'm saying? From nap time, because I'm old. And in quarter to Torian, I need my Ovaltine shot. But come back tomorrow. Because we got Torian Rain reload this video tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? The second video that he did, you know what I mean? We got Torian on tomorrow. So I want, because this ain't the end of the conversation. This is not the end of the conversation. We got more conversation. So make sure that you come back 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Central time. If you're on the West Coast, get up, because the early bird gets the worm. So I want y'all to get up, come back tomorrow. We got more of this on tomorrow. But if you enjoyed the show, make sure to give it a thumbs up before you leave out of here. But tell me what you think in the comment section. Tell me what you think in the chat. I am vindicated. You have no idea how I feel right now, because I'm vindicated, because I said it and he said it. That makes me right and y'all wrong. Anyway, thank you so very much for tuning in to another episode of The Dre Mac Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. My daughter, so you never, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'll hit you guys later. Peace and bye. Jesus Louise, I gotta get out of here. Where's my outro at? Jeez Louise, I gotta go. Wait a minute, you're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and Bob Hire, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.